Hello all, 5th of June 2016, Dan here from Essex, United Kingdom in this extremely hot and humid polytunnel. It's about 23 to 24 degrees outside and 31-32 degrees in the main body of the polytunnel. Now this weather's meant to carry on for the next week at least, so that's great. Of course we have to water it regularly here in the polytunnel due to the fact of the heat and the high humidity. It dries out far quicker than what it would do outside, so you must be aware of that. And what I'm going to do today is give you my second instalment of how to grow melons in a cold climate here in the UK, or indeed a similar climate. Okay, so let's just have a little tour. Now I believe this was variety Charleston Grey. I have some bitter melons here. Charleston Grey again, watermelon. Another bitter melon there. These I believe were variety Blacktail Mountain watermelons. And some more Charleston Grey and Blacktail Mountains there. This one not doing too well, but that's fine because I've set many, so not expecting them all to do well. So you will remember in my previous video, if you've viewed it, entitled How to Grow Melons in a Cold Climate, some steps I took to create as much as ideal possible climate, microclimate for growing melons in a non-ideal country. So let's have a look here what we've got. So you may remember I put this down in order to heat up the roots, because what you need to do is you need to make sure that the roots are as warm as is reasonably possible in order to get ideal growth. Now one thing I notice about growing watermelons is once they get going, they really do get going. I mean the majority of this growth has occurred within sort of the last 10 days or so. And if you put your hand here, you really can feel just how warm this is, and of course this is then going to radiate into the roots, which is very important because although we're getting good daytime temperatures, we're getting some nighttime temperatures of about 8 degrees, which is far from ideal for growing melons. So this heat that's gathered during the day and stored within here then radiates into the soil in order to keep it warmer. And just so you know just how warm it gets, I've got the thermometer here, look, with the probe here right by the roots of one of these melons, and we're at 45.6 degrees C, and this is brilliant for growing melons because of course in many countries where they do grow melons sort of as a standard thing, in particular watermelons, the countries do reach these sort of temperatures. I'm thinking of Eastern European countries, obviously Spain, tropical climates. Temperatures like this are not particularly uncommon. So this is one step that you want to be taking as much as possible to insulate it and make sure that your roots are warm, because of course black attracts heat anyway. And another good thing about using what I've used here, I mean you can use anything, you could use a membrane, but I used bin bags purely because they are cheap and free in some cases. And of course the polytunnel itself is a great thing excuse me, to have in order to help yourself to produce watermelons in the UK. Now, not many people, I wouldn't imagine anyone has, well I've certainly not seen anyone on YouTube growing these in the UK, but these are bitter melons. They look more like a knobbly cucumber than a melon, but that's irrelevant. And what they do is they grow up canes. They're a vine that sort of grows up and they've got these here, look, that they use to grab and wrap round in order to direct their growth up the canes. And I notice once again, once these roots sort of establish, these really do grow fast, in particular with the steps we've taken using the heat as a catalyst. So they will grow vertically up these canes, and then I will probably find a way of sort of tying them onto these garden twines here in order to get them to grow even higher. Now I've got these, had these in a lot earlier than I did last year, so I'm hoping for earlier crops and better ripened crops. And you can see here we have the cardboard underneath in order to help to retain moisture and body within the soil. And open vessels, I know these aren't ideal, obviously you need sort of shallower and wider, but can't find anything to hand at present. I'm using these in order to increase the humidity because this is what we want. And same here again, bitter melons. I've got some Romanian watermelons. sitting here, and you can see one is starting to come up there. Look, I straight sowed them. I'm not particularly worried how well they do. I'm probably going to get a better crop of them next year. It's a bit late now considering they haven't germinated, but as I stated, I'm not worried about them. Look at that, look. Flying around there. So here we go, we've got even hotter now. We're approaching 1500 hours, which is the hottest part of the day generally, 46.4 degrees C. So if it gets too hot, you can always open the door of your polytunnel. But for what I'm growing in here, obviously within reason, the warmer the better, as I'm wishing to simulate a tropical stroke Mediterranean climate as much as possible. So I hope you guys out there are enjoying the posts that I'm putting up and people are finding them sort of informative. I'm trying to put sort of grow things that most people don't really attempt in the UK, purely because I enjoy eating them, of course I do, but I like to try things a little bit different, and you know, I certainly think that bitter melons are a bit different, and the amount of people that tell me that you can't grow watermelons in the UK, I like to prove them wrong. I was having a chat with some people from Eastern Europe, and they like to, obviously because in Eastern Europe it gets particularly hot, and in the winter, in the summer anyway, and they like to sort of say, oh, you can't grow things like this in the UK. Well, I'm attempting to prove them wrong again, as I indeed did last year. So I hope everybody out there is learning from these videos. Take care, and here's to some good crops within a few months. Speak soon.